All right, looks like I'm going to be talking a little crap about Richard Cooper today. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, and I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but I see some holes in this here. So this is Entrepreneurs in Cars on Facebook. Entrepreneur in Cars is the YouTube channel run by Richard Cooper, who is the CEO of the brand Entrepreneur in Cars. Anyway, so Richard Cooper was, I don't know if he still is, but he was pretty popular about 4 or 5 years ago in the Manosphere, along with Rollo Tomasi and some other guys. And Richard's philosophy on life, as far as masculinity is concerned, is to man up, do the work, become great, and then you get all the spoils. So at this point, I kind of got to make a little bit of an explanation of how I differ in my viewpoint of that and Richard Cooper. You're going to have a couple different schools of thought on basically how to navigate the matrix. You're going to have a couple different schools of thought within the red pill community. There's the kind of black pill doomer and dare I say MGTOW crowd who doesn't feel like playing the game and improving to get the woman or to get that the great life, which includes a woman, because men love women and women love men. Oh boy. Anyway, I don't know how much women love men, but biologically we're programmed to want the other sex. But anyway, so you can't just okay, let me walk away. That's pretty hard to do when it's hardwired in your in your DNA to not only reproduce but to not want to be lonely. Nobody wants to be lonely, and women have this biological imperative to play into hypergamy by choosing the highest value male. Men have the biological imperative to become the highest value male in order to play into hypergamy. The real truth is that yes, improvement is good and helpful for everybody, and I think everybody should improve and should want to improve in general. But what we have today, even in the word hypergamy, is that part where it's hyper, right? So what we have today is an extreme I don't know if vacuum is the right word, but it's just an extreme scenario where you have men again at the extreme side of things, and then you have men on the extreme other side of things, and then you have men in the middle. And most men are in the middle. Few men are at the very bottom of the totem pole, and few men are at the very top of the totem pole, right? Most men are in the middle. Most men are average. Obviously, women are not dealing with the men at the low end of the totem pole. They're dealing with the men at the high end of the totem pole. So what does that mean? Well, you can ask Rollo Tomasi. He'll tell you what that means is that women are choosing to share the highest quality man as opposed to settling, quote unquote, or just normally going out and finding somebody you love, right? Which, if you have love in your heart, like, you just go out and find somebody you love. I'm not sitting here like, yeah, I don't want a 400-pound woman, but if she was 20 pounds overweight, right, I might be like, well, you know what, I love her, I can sacrifice that. For a woman, the equivalent to that would be like, oh, here's a man who doesn't make that much money, but I love him, right? It's kind of similar, right? So it's not even normal out there, though. That would be normal. That would be like, yeah, let me just go out and find somebody. They don't have to be perfect, reasonable defects, right? Fine. But that's not what's going on today. What's going on today is this extreme version. And yes, it's affected by America, the get ahead by any means, American hubris, the hubris, I should say essence, the American essence is get ahead by any means, be the best, everybody else should lose, you should win everything, second place is first loser, right? If you're not first, you're last, kind of Ricky Bobby mentality that America has, it makes everything even that much worse. Well, female's hypergamy is already through the roof, but now we have this selfish, narcissistic, greedy generation that is only in love with money and riches and mansions and, doesn't give a crap about goodness of people's heart, doesn't give a crap about loyalty, friendships, doesn't give a crap about the truth, right? Doesn't give a crap about doing what's right. I mean, culturally, we have become defunct morally as a nation in the West. Culturally, we're just bereft of anything, of any inward value, really. We're just outward, materialistic, crass, narcissistic, selfish, greedy, you name it, right? That exasperates the already high hypergamy in female nature. The average man can't compete with billionaires. The average man can't compete with even regular millionaires. We got billionaires now. We got multi-billionaires now. We got people who have like James Bond villain type money. The Elon Musks of the world, the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs. We got those guys now. It's not even a millionaire anymore. Millionaire is like poor to those people. That's what the average guy is up against. What is your little 9 to 5 going to do? Right? So that's the culture. So we've got somebody in that backdrop named Richard Cooper. Entrepreneurs in cars, right? He knows all about this. He knows everything we know in the red pill. He's been one of our leaders. And I've watched his content and some of it's good. It's not particularly my cup of tea. I don't particularly enjoy watching him. There's other guys I think are better. I'm more in tune to Rollo Tomassi. He's a little more intellectual. Anyway, but Richard Cooper has made his stamp in the red pill community, and he's well known, and he's helped men. And I gotta talk about essentially what he says here and kind of his success, because Richard Cooper has had some success in the last few years that I've noticed. I think it took him a long time to get over his hurt. Now, obviously, I don't know him or anything, but just from my observation, I don't know if it's true, but this is my observations. He was married to or dated a single mother, and she was the one who kind of red-pilled him on female nature, and he talks about her from time to time. Could have been that it took a long time for him to get over her. He was single for a long time. Maybe he got more money, or I don't know what happened. But he's become more successful. He's out here on his boat or whatever. He's got all these cars, and I believe he's been dating a woman for not too long. So when a red pill guy dates a woman, like there should be some explanation behind that. Like, whoa, how do you deal with female nature? And it's not that I don't think that red pill guys couldn't ever date. It's not that I don't think that red pill guys could never even find love or whatever. I just want to know some details, because if you are this educated as a man in the red pill, how is that going to affect your relationship with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever? Rollo Tomassi is married. Donovan Sharp is married. Donovan Sharp got called out. People don't really even talk about Donovan Sharp anymore, but he got exposed and called out by can't remember that guy's name from the 21 convention. Anyway, who did a whole expose on Donovan Sharp, which was pretty lowbrow, but you know, anyway, I've got some videos on that back when that happened, but honestly, what was I almost lost my train of thought here. Yeah, Donovan Sharp got called out for some weird stuff with his wife. He at first he said it was his girlfriend, then he said it was his wife, and a lot of people stopped following Donovan Sharp over that. A lot of guys were like, "Oh, this guy's a fraud." And so what's his face from the 21 convention, you know, did some damage there, and he was trying to, and I think he was emotionally butthurt over that scenario that happened, which is why he put out that content. But it brings up a good point. What is the relationship of these super hardcore red pill influencers, if you will, right, who have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers on social media? What is their relationship like with their women? I want to know. Like, that's important to me, because it's like, how do you deal with, you know, so you know, how do you deal with the opposite sex when you're so educated about female nature, when you've had all this experience, and guys, you don't get to be this smart unless you've been screwed over by a lot of women. So I don't think there's any like just straight up frauds, even though Donovan Sharp got called a fraud. I don't believe Donovan Sharp's a fraud. I watch his content. He's genuine in what he's saying and what he believes. I don't think he's a fraud. I mean, you'd have to be crazy to just be like, oh yeah, let me throw my hat into the ring of this red pill content and see if I can make a career on you. It's like, at some point, you're just like, I'm all in, and you know, but that's not a viable option for the average guy to just, I don't even say average, but it's not a viable option really for anybody, even the most hardcore of entrepreneurs, to throw your hat into the red pill ring and think you're going to make a living from being a red pill teacher, a red pill talker guy. I tried it. It didn't work. I made like $100 on YouTube like 3 years ago off of one video that got like 50,000 views, and they gave me $100, and it's just like, that's not sustainable. So I don't know if people, and like, you got guys like Donovan Sharp who got a whole studio in their house and invested tens of thousands of dollars in high quality equipment to make all this happen, to where you can call in and this, that, and the third. And anyway, so I think I think there's better grifts out there. I think there's better criminal operations, or fraudulent operations to engage in, as opposed to being a red pill. Like, who's just think, yeah, I'm gonna be a red pill content creator, but I'm gonna lie about it. Like, nobody's doing that, right? So I never really I can't remember his name from the 21 convention. It's gonna bug me because it's kind of a weird name. It's a funny name too. I forget. I can't remember. All right, so I don't believe Donovan Sharp was a fraud. But anyway, I'm going off on all these tangents. Let me get into Richard Cooper. My point in saying that is, I really want to know, you know, I want to know the relationship these guys have. I want to know their relationship to their women and how their knowledge of female nature affects them. Now, here's what I think, and this is from what I've pieced together about Richard Cooper in my time watching him and following him over the last, I'd say, since like 2015 is when I kind of started noticing him. 16, around there, 2016, 2017. What I've noticed is that there's two types of red pill guys. Well, there's a lot of types, but let me just name these two types for sake of of this argument. The first type is the guy who takes the red pill and really does a lot of soul searching, and he realizes, like, deep down, it's kind of a shit show, and female nature's jacked up, and it's just, for whatever reason, that's the way that it is, and you got to deal with it, and you move on, and it just sucks. And most guys are at this point. I think most rational, normal guys who have taken the red pill, and you have to take the so first of all, the red pill is just the truth, right? The red pill is just the truth. So in order to take the red pill, you have to accept the truth, and the truth is often hard to accept. But particularly with experience, it's easier to take in the truth. So there's two types of guys. There's the guy who takes the truth, and most guys go through red pill rage, right? Meaning like the dissonance, the cognitive dissonance, the anger that comes from like learning that, oh, this beautiful creature that I thought I was going to marry and love is this narcissistic, manipulative, solipsist, all these things that we realize, all the stuff that we talk about, we realize that, and it sucks. And so there's two types. The first type is like the guy who just takes that information and he just deals with it, and he's just like, all right, well, that sucks, and either I go MGTOW, or I just deal with a woman, and it just, there's that guy. Or there's the other guy who's like, I'm gonna be the best, right? I'm gonna win the women over. I'm gonna take their I'm gonna take their hypergamy and I'm gonna beat it. And like, these guys are playing into the matrix. So when we say take the red pill, what we're implying is leave the matrix of ignorance. Leave the matrix of that sphere of non-truth, of convenient lies, non-truth. And to me, that's what the Matrix movie really represented, was leaving that place in your mentality, in your head, in your soul, or wherever, your heart, wherever, leaving that place of deception. Because we can be deceived in our mind. What we perceive as reality oftentimes is deception. It's not really reality. There's a nuance to life. There's layers to life, and a lot of times the shiny outward veneer, outward layer is not the real content. It's not the real truth of life. So when you leave the matrix and you take the red pill, you're essentially switching. You're flipping a switch in your brain that's like, okay, I just uncovered that deception, that deceptive place, and I could never go back there. You just can't. When you leave the matrix, you can't go back. There's no going back, right? I don't know what happened in the movie. The parallels. All I'm talking about is the red pill with regards to the manosphere in modern men today. And yes, there's some. It comes from the movie, and there's some relation to the movie, but it's not totally parallel with the movie. I don't know if, in the movie you can go back to the Matrix. I'm not sure about all that stuff. But I do know in real life, once you know the truth, you can't go back. The only way to go back is to deceive yourself into liking the fake steak. Now, there's a part in the movie, and I believe his name is Cypher. Might be somebody else, I forget, but it's the bald guy, the bald guy with that little mustache, and he sells out Neo. He sells out the team in order for like a position in the Matrix, or to go back to the Matrix. So I guess you can in the movie go back to the Matrix. In a way, you can also go back to the Matrix today. It's the same today. It's just a different. You can't go back and be completely ignorant, right? So I think Cypher, whatever his name is, he could go back to the Matrix, but he would still know that the Matrix is fake, which is part of my point, which is the major part of my point, actually, is he really loved the Matrix. So actually, what's the reason why you're leaving the Matrix? The reason why you're leaving the Matrix is because you want to get out of there. You don't want to be in the Matrix because it's a lie. It's a falsehood, right? And for me, there's all kinds of implications because I became a Christian, and like I believe the world is a lie. It's set up by the devil to keep people occupied and deceived and all this. And to me, that was the Matrix. To me, when I watched the movie The Matrix and I became a Christian like a couple years later, like that, to me, it all correlated. I was like, oh yeah, that movie totally explains what being a Christian is like, because once you learn the truth about the Bible and stuff, you leave the world, and the world is really the Matrix, because the world is this system that's set up to occupy us, to keep us occupied, and to really just waste our time from the real life that we should be living. And the real life that we should be living is the life where we're close to God, because that's what we were created for. That's what Christians believe. Now, you might not believe that. You might not believe that Christian part, but if you're a red pill guy, you have accepted the truth of red pill ideology, and that right there in and of itself causes you to leave the Matrix. Now, here's where I got to talk about Richard Cooper, and here's why I mentioned that guy Cypher, is because he sold out his team in order to go back to the Matrix, because he loved the Matrix. So essentially, he loved the lie, right? So here's my thing. Here's where I come and talk about Richard Cooper. The reason why I mention all that, and I go through that lengthy backdrop, is because it explains who Richard Cooper is in this grand scheme, and who any guy is, for that matter, in the grand scheme. Any guy who tells you work harder, try harder, become better, improve, so that you can get a higher quality woman, is playing into hypergamy, thus encouraging the Matrix, thus becoming a part of the Matrix. You have to leave that. Now again, and I always say this, I am not encouraging men to be lazy. I'm not encouraging men to be failures. I like success myself. I think every person should have their version of success, and in an idealistic world, even though we don't live in an idealistic world, that's just not reality. Not everybody's going to have success. It's just not what it is. And there's things that you can do with that. It's like, what is success? Does it always have to be financially? Can success be like you had a good day? That's success. I went to the park and I just really, I wasn't worried about anything. I was just really enjoying this park, these nice swans and the flowers and the lake, and just loved this park. Like, that's success. You had a great day. It's success, So like, anyway, that's a different story. But guys who are in the red pill, using the red pill ideology, while simultaneously saying, oh, it's all about improvement, baby. Life is all about improvement. These guys are to me, I would say, are grifters. To me, I would say these guys are selling. It's funny because it's like, on the one hand, you are calling out the symptoms of a disease, right? You're saying, women are doing this. This is their behavior. They're getting away with it because of this. We're just talking about it. That's a symptom of a disease, right? However, on the one hand, you're exposing that. On the other, and it's the same issue I have with Andrew Tate, and the reason probably why they correlate, they parallel, is because they're both after money. They're both profiteers, right? So you got to sell something. You can't just negative, or you'd be like me on my channel, right? You can't just constantly bombard your audience with negative stuff. You got to give them something positive to feed on. Okay, well, here's all the negative stuff about female behavior. Here's what you can do to counteract that. The problem is, both Andrew Tate and Richard Cooper, their answer is not the right answer. Their answer is to work harder. Their answer is to improve yourself more. And what does this do? Is it plays into the Matrix. It plays into the gynocentric world order. They want us to work harder so they can use us more. Think about that. So let's read what he's saying. I want to get into this and break it down from that from what I just said, right? You are playing into the matrix when you're playing into the gynocentric matrix when you work harder, because all they're going to do is use you. You're becoming a better slave. You're becoming a more in shape slave so they can work you harder. He says, men today obsess over women in the most unhealthy ways, and it doesn't serve men. Aside from a random reflection in my sunglasses, there's a reason why I never feature my girlfriend on my socials or channel. It's not because she is a disagreeable old battle axe. It's quite the opposite, actually. She's a compliment to my life, younger, beautiful, and fit. That's it? That's the only compliment she is to your life? She's just younger, beautiful, and fit? She's a compliment to my life. It sounds to me like you're just renting a prostitute. You know, you're just paying for sex. You're paying for prolonged sex. It doesn't sound like you're really in love with this woman. She's a compliment to your life. She's an appendage. She's a commodity. What's that word? Yeah, appendage. She's an appendage to you. So essentially, she's a commodity. You've paid for her with the money that you've made from selling information to hurt men, right? And he says, I don't need to prove anything. My life is well sorted. She knows what my purpose is and loves supporting it without being featured in it. These guys love to use the word purpose. You know, Andrew Tate, Richard Cooper, Bulldog Mindset. These type of guys who play off of men's insecurities. They know that men want to be part of a bigger thing. They know that men have this desire to slay the dragon within us, and they play to that because that keeps us interested, that piques our little it kind of tempts us. It tempts us into, yeah, I should be better. I can always do better. I can improve. I can do, it's this kind of like success masturbation, right? Be better, become a better man, become buffer, become, looks max, get a better car, woo woo, all this outward stuff, right? Which really isn't wholesome values. It really isn't moral values. It really isn't human values such as kindness, sharing, love, just enjoying somebody else, being in somebody's presence, being friendly. These kind of very quintessential things that we as a race, as a group of humans on this planet have largely strayed away from, because we're all sucked into the matrix. We're all sucked into this money machine. Money, make money. And here's a guy who beat the system. Guys can beat the system. You beat the system, and then what? In a way, I'm glad I never beat the system, because there was a time in my life when I didn't understand half this shit. I didn't understand any of this shit. I didn't understand what the Matrix was. I didn't understand what the red pill was. I didn't understand the truth about female nature, or the nature of being an adult, the nature of money, how corrupt society is culturally, not culturally, well, culturally, yes, it's becoming corrupt, but politically corrupt, economically corrupt, corporately corrupt, as far as corporations are concerned, right? I didn't know any of this stuff until I became an adult, and I had to learn it. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, the world is basically just extremely corrupt. Everybody's selfish. Everybody is in it for money. And what's rare, and particularly as I've gotten older, even the last 10 years, what's becoming rarer and rarer is quality human beings. What's becoming rarer and rarer is kindness. What's becoming rarer and rarer is love. What's becoming rarer and rarer is people looking out for each other, caring for each other. Humanity is lost. That's what's that's what's going down. So this type of message, is really just counter human. It's counter. Essentially, he's just telling you to fall in love with the Matrix, become a brick in the wall, right? Go get money. That's what everybody's doing. Everybody's trying to get money. And really, all these people who are so encapsulated with financial success, they're really just slaves, prisoners, I should say, to their own dick, really. Because why are men trying to make more money? To get pussy. Why are men trying to make more money? To get a woman. You are a prisoner of them, and they know it, and that gives them more power. So the irony of somebody like Richard Cooper and Andrew Tate, brilliant in their expose of female nature, the irony is they turn around and play into it. Their very message, their very positive message, which become a 1% man, right? Become a top G, right? This message is the very thing that creates and plays into men's pain with hypergamy, which is hilarious. So there's a big flaw in these guys' ultimate resume, right? What they speak about the red pill is great truth. What they share and how they share it is great, because it is the truth, and the person who bears the truth, it's a great thing to tell the truth. It should be a normal thing. It should be a natural thing to tell the truth. But in today's day and age, the truth is becoming more rare. So to bear the red pill truths is great, but at the same time, to turn around and then hype up something that essentially damages men and perpetuates that problem that you're supposedly, I don't know, are they trying to fix this problem? They claim they are. But what's funny is that if the problem goes away, if men become more masculine, these guys won't make any money, right? If all men just become masculine, that's not the answer. The problem is with female nature. The problem is with female behavior. Now, female nature, is it female nature or is it female behavior? That's a great question. I don't know. I think it's both. Nature versus nurture, right? I think it's in their nature to be hypergamous. Yes, it's in their nature to choose the best possible male for themselves. However, it's also enhanced in social conditioning, in cultural conditioning as well. How their friends think, how society thinks, how mainstream pop music thinks, how mainstream pop entertainment thinks, what the movies say, this, that, and feminism, ideologies, all this crap that comes in and exasperates what's already in their nature, right? So let me go on and read this here. Let me finish this actually. He says, I don't need to prove anything. My life is well sorted. She knows what my purpose is, and she loves supporting it without being featured in it. That just sounds weird. It kind of sounds like a little boy here. She knows what my purpose is. It's just weird. Like, I don't know, man. And this whole thing, I've never been big on, like, men need to find a purpose. Like, no shit. That's implied in life. Like, if you're alive in life, I feel like everybody should be seeking their purpose. Like, what am I here for? Like, I feel like that's just human nature. So you don't need to sell that. You don't need to, tell men that, right? You don't need to hype that up. Anyway, I've always just been like, whenever they use the word it's always like purpose. It's just a selling point. Anyway. All right, I don't need to prove anything, blah, blah, blah. She knows my purpose, blah, blah, blah. I learned a long time ago during private entrepreneurs forum meetings with women involved in the room that the conversation changes and gets sanitized. I think what he's trying to say is he doesn't want women to be around his conversations or something. I'm pretty sure that's what he means. I don't think the topic's important to men on masculinity need women's input or involvement. Well, I would agree with that. I mean, when women come into the picture, it's just all about them. It's all about manipulation and trying to make things better for themselves and trying to low-key, subtly control men and rule us, and through psychology or emotions or whatever. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think that women need to be involved in men discussing masculinity. But honestly, I don't know how much men need to be discussing masculinity, because if you're super focused on masculinity, it just doesn't come across as masculine to me. You know, these guys who are like, I feel like you're compensating for something. Like, I'm fine. Like, I don't need to, like, I know if I'm being a bitch. I know if I'm being weak. I need to be better. But I'm not out here, like, super hyper focused on my masculinity. Like, am I being masculine enough? Is my voice deep enough when I'm ordering food at Taco Bell? You know, it's just weird. Like, it gets weird. And it's like, yeah, like I think masculinity's fine. I think it's great. But like, you're so focused on it, and it's because you're trying to sell it. You're selling masculinity. You're a salesman, and you're a good salesman. That's great. I get it. Men and women should make time for their own private groups and conversations. Oh, you better believe women have their own private groups and conversations. Men, not women. Did I say men or women? I said you bet. Did I say men or women? What I meant was, you better believe women have their own private conversations. I'm pretty sure I said women. Anyway, men, not women, should define what a good man is and what being good at being a man is. Yeah, but, you know, a fish isn't supposed to climb a tree. So there's definitely, you know, there's definitely room for people being different. So when you define masculinity, it's like, well, either you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or you're not a man. Like, I hear a lot of that too. Like, I wish that would stop. I wish these people selling masculinity would just knock it off. I wish these people selling, you know, how to be a confident man, I wish these people would just, these marketers would just, you know, freaking go away and not come back. Because what the person who needs to teach a man about masculinity is the father. That's it. He needs to teach a man how to be a man. And if you don't have a father who teaches a man how to be a man, you need to be around a lot of men, not men selling you something, but men in your life, like friends or acquaintances, or join a sports team, or at your work. Hopefully you know, at your work, if you work at like a physical place, or like a place where you know, men are doing, you know, like manly work. If you work at an office, like, yeah, nah. But you get my point. So I don't like when these gurus, these red pill guys pump this masculinity. And that was my problem with Richard Cooper from the very beginning. At least Rollo Tomassi, at least he's stuck to the script for the most part. At least he's, you know, I know he struggles with his own little, he wants to work out and become more of a bad boy and this, that, and the third. I get all that, but at least he kind of sticks to the script. At least he doesn't preach masculinity. Elliot Hulse, that's another one who does it. And I like Elliot Hulse. I really do. But at the same time, he's hard selling. These guys are hard selling masculinity, right? And they're doing it, and there's a need for it. I wouldn't say there's not a need for it, or else they wouldn't be popular. There's a need for it. But guys like me who, you know, I'm not a 14-year-old kid who weighs 70 pounds, who needs to hit the gym and have a growth spurt. Like, I've been in masculinity for many decades. I've been in my own masculinity for whatever that means. You know what I mean? I'm not like one of these impressionable, anxiety-ridden, timid, you know, guys. You know, that's these guys' audience. That's the guys who are going to pay these guys money, $500 a minute, to get on the phone with them. I'm not that guy. I've been down the block and back. I'm not no kissless virgin. Anyway, so I can see through this stuff. This is a hard sell. This is marketing, right? He says, don't get me wrong, women have a place and can be a wonderful complement to a man's life, but only men can hold other men accountable. And what's this accountable shit? Like, I don't need my buddy to be like, hey, you know, I'm holding you accountable. Like, tell me your goal. Like, just fuck off. Like, I don't need, like, oh, we need to hold other men accountable. The only thing that we need to hold other men accountable for is not being white knights. Don't be a beta bitch, right? Don't throw other men under the bus so that you can get ahead with women, so that you think, I'm one of the feminist allies and I'm going to get some pussy by throwing other men under the bus. That's where men need to be held accountable. Tell the truth. Tell the truth about female behavior, even if it's inconvenient. Tell the truth, even if it makes you look like a dick, even if you are, obviously, be safe, but like, if it's embarrassing to you, tell the truth, that's where men need to be held accountable, is don't be a beta white knight. Don't simp for women. Don't be one of these. That's where guys need to say, no, piss off. We're not accepting this leftist crap. We're not accepting your little beta attempts at, I'm not like those other guys, to her. No, that's where men need to step up and say, no, these weak ass beta white knights need to get to stepping. That's where men need to hold other men accountable, but not for like, oh, hey man, are you making money? Are you going towards your job? Are you going towards your career? Like, back off, dude. Back off. Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to have goals. Everybody wants to get their goals accomplished. Everybody wants to be successful. Not everybody has the talent. Not everybody has the money to invest. Not everybody has the time. I get it. Those are not excuses. I've been down the road. I've started businesses. I've failed at businesses. I've held down jobs. I've went to college. I know all this stuff. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just some dude who hasn't experienced anything talking about shit I don't know. I get there's a time and place for having goals and doing the work. Yes, do the work. That's fine. But life is nuanced. You can't just be black and white, left or right. This way's good, that way's bad. Like, it's not how life works. So you can't just this one size fits all masculinity stamp. Oh, masculine. It's bullshit, right? In real life, men take losses. In real life, we got limitations. In real life, we can't work 8 hours a day and then come home and spend the next 4 hours grinding. Most men just only have the energy enough to come home and just freaking eat food and sleep, man, because that's real life. And anyway, I don't want to keep going off on this, but let me just finish this. To the proper women out there that get this notion, we love you for stepping aside while men do man shit. Dude, whatever. Pictured is an outing I recently had with some old and some new friends. We took the boat out to Center Island in Toronto for a bite on the patio while enjoying the skyline and chopped up life, business, money, self-care, and women. Yeah, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about you with your little naked buddies. You are portraying success. You are conveying to the world that you're successful so that you can be acceptable and chosen. You don't want to leave the matrix. You just want success in the matrix. So you're the king of saying one thing and doing another. Right? You're the king of saying one thing and doing another. On the one hand, you say, oh, probably shouldn't get married because 50% divorce rate and women this and women that and watch out for this and watch out for that. But then you turn around and you're like, oh yeah, well, all about success. Now I got the woman and he's bragging about how he's got her in check. He's bragging about how like she's not all up in his business, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. But admit that she probably wouldn't be with you if you weren't successful. She probably wouldn't be with you if you didn't own that boat. She probably wouldn't be with you if you didn't drive around in nice cars and you didn't have a successful business. She probably wouldn't be with you. And that's the reality, right, that most men have to live with. This guy is beating the system. Excuse me, he's beating the other guys in the system while still being a proponent of the system, while still telling you how bad the system is. So he'll get online and he'll talk about women this, women that, right? Women bad, women, relationships bad, marriage bad because of divorce, don't date single moms, women out here who have been riding the carousel, avoid those, right? But they're all that way. if she's not a single mom, she's got a body count in the hundreds. She's got STD. If she doesn't have STDs, she's got cuts on her wrists from bad relationships. She's got her ex is a bad boy who wants to fight you, or like they all got baggage, right? And at best, someone like Richard Cooper says, "Oh, well, find the ones who don't have baggage. Uplift your personal financial life. Uplift your, get in the gym, improve. Do the work, which everybody should. I recommend everybody improve. Go to the gym, eat healthy, get happy. Like, do it. It's worth it for yourself, not for women, not so you can get the woman." So this is where the hypocrisy comes. Is you got the guy who's telling you all about how women are bad, woo woo woo, and then he'll say, "Oh, you do the work so that you can get a better woman." But the truth is that woman would never be with you if you didn't have the money, right? So he exposes female nature, and he says, women bad, women this, women that, female nature this is how they do this, monkey branching, all these terms that we use, all of that goes out the window when you get money. So when you get some money, then the woman is just the appendage. She's the eye candy, and you're the big successful guy, and you run the show, and now you're telling her this, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just not that type of man, but I want my woman not to be an appendage. I want my woman not to be my slave. I want my woman not to be in subjugation to me. I just want her to be a chill, cool human being who loves me and I love her. And there's no games. There's no if I don't make this money, she's gonna leave me. Like, if that's female nature, that's female nature. Then I'll just stay single, and that's fine. But I'm not gonna play into that. Like, if a woman doesn't love me when I'm down and out, and I got nothing, and I'm dirt poor, then it just is what it is, and I'll be single, because that's not real love, dude. If the woman is not there until you hit, which is funny, because Richard Cooper is somebody who constantly posts that he has this meme, and I'm not sure if he said it. I think somebody said that he stole it from Bill Burr, but the quote is, women don't care about your struggle. They just sit around at the finish line and have sex with the winner. Kind of true. I'd say it's very true. Very great illustration of female nature. Great explanation of hypergamy, right? Great explanation of female solipsism and how ruthless and heartless they can be, right? That's a great quote. And yet, here's the guy at the finish line, chilling on his boat. He's at the finish line, now he's got the girl, so he became what he was talking about. He played into the Matrix to the point where he won the game. You see my point? So it's just like, okay, like, you're saying one thing and doing another. So it's almost like you're just playing us. Should you do the work? Should the man do the work so he can get the prize? If you're doing the work in order to get something, that thing that you're going to get is the prize. So if what you want is a woman and you do the work to get the woman, she's the prize. So I hear all this talk about, like, take the pussy off the pedestal and you're the prize, not her. And it's like, okay, if that was the case, then you wouldn't have to do anything and you could sit back and she'd chase you. But it's the other way around in reality. In reality, in real life, men are the one chasing women, and women don't have to do shit. They don't even have to have a college degree. They don't have to have a job. They don't have to even be that educated in order to get a husband, in order to be a wife to a husband, as long as the guy's got money. That's all. She can just sit back, sit on her ass, eat chocolate, watch daytime shows, soap operas, sitcoms, whatever the heck they call them these days, and pop out a few babies and that's it. She don't even have to be a good mother. She don't have to have good morals. I mean, so many of these, I can't tell you, man. Growing up in Washington State, you know, where it's like, I feel, and I'm not sure, but I feel like Washington State is kind of a cucked state because of Seattle and because there's a lot of metrosexual type men who, like, you know, the type who like drive a truck even though they never go out into the woods, they never go to the mountains, yet they still drive a truck. Like, they never go out into the woods or go to the mountains, but they wear boots around, you know. Or let's say they do. Even if they do, it's like, it's not because like that's just what it's like a character they're playing or something, you know. It's not because like they're just driven to go out and go hunting by some natural manly desire. Oh, it's just because like that's the cool thing to do, because like, oh yeah, we're pretending to be cowboys or something, or like we're Republicans, and you know, so we're gonna go out and fish, and that's, you know, it's like watching George Bush fish or something. It's like, you don't really fish in real life. You're just doing that because you think that's what somebody in your you know, your gender or your political party should do. Or anyway, I'm going off on a crazy tangent here, but what I've noticed is that there's a lot of women who really don't have a lot of substance, who really don't have a lot going on in their head or their heart, unfortunately. And they're in relationships with these guys who pay the bills, do everything. And it's almost like a babysitting type scenario where the guy just does everything and she's like this little eye candy, and but she thinks she's running the show, and she kind of, you know, low key is behind the scenes, like just this weird, like, anyway, I don't even know why I started talking about that, but I don't know what led into that. I'm starting to go off on tangents, but man, you know, it's just like, did you really win? Are you really winning? Did you really beat the game? You know? And it kind of just cuts to the quick of like, the question on my channel is that, what do you do? You know, I've been struggling with this question for years. What do you do? Do I go MGTOW? It's like, who cares? Like, you're technically already MGTOW. If you're not married and you don't have a girlfriend, you're MGTOW. Whether you claim the label or not, like, you're MGTOW. It's like being an incel. You just are. You can't change it. Like anyway, my point is that, you know, what do you do with this information when you leave the matrix and you take the red pill? What do you do with that information? And this is one way. You can be like Richard Cooper, where he's like, I'm going to do better and I'm going to but he's doing it in order to be accepted by the very thing that he exposes. Guarantee you that woman wouldn't be with him if he wasn't successful. Guarantee it. And so my question to him is that, did you really win the game? It's not real love. And that's just in general for any relationship that would dissolve if you remove finances. If you remove the income, if you remove the success and the status from the male, the woman's gonna leave. Any relationship like that is not real love, right? So this is my question to someone like Richard Cooper or someone like Andrew Tate, who their answer is, oh, it's all about success for a man, right? Oh, all you need is success. Success is the answer. Da 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 da. It's not real. What's real is if she loved you when you didn't have nothing. That's real. That's real love. There's no reason for her to stick around. Outwardly, you're not successful. You're dirty. You're I don't know. You know, I'm not saying you need to be extreme, but I think we know what real love is. I think that humans are intelligent, and I think humans know what real love is. And I think there's a lot of men out there who really just get in their hormones when it comes to sex, and they mistake that dopamine or endorphin or whatever head rush that you get when you have sex or when you're in this physical relationship with a woman, and they mistake that as love. Bro, love is way deeper than that, man. Love is it's long suffering, man. It's I always go back to that quote in 1 Corinthians. Love is kind, love is patient, love is long suffering. It's not selfish, it doesn't boast, it doesn't puff itself up, it doesn't take account of offenses. All that it's a perfect quote. I mean, it's too good. It really is. It's too good. It's like, oh, you not take account of offenses, huh? Like, you know, even siblings take account of each other's offenses. You know, parents and children take account. You know, it's like, it's very hard to do. Like, love is, but if you love somebody, you love somebody, and you love them regardless, you know, of their situation. And to me, I don't think women can love like that. And so I could never, for me, I've never come to the point where, like, I work out and I try to improve, and I do everything I can with my finances, and I'm doing what I can, but I just understand that I've been there and back. I've been to the success part. I had success when I was younger, you know, and then I've been to the part where I've been a failure, and I've had nothing, and I know that there's a difference in how people treat you. There's a difference in your friends. There's a difference in how much people pay attention to you. Like, when you're successful, like, that comes. People pay attention to you. You got friends around you. You got women interested in you. You have clout. All of a sudden, people are respecting you. You, like, life is cool. You're like, oh yeah, I'm the man. You got confidence. You're going along, because you're succeeding, and you're striding along in your life, and you're just like, wow, this is great, da 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 da. But then all of a sudden it's gone, and then you're like, oh shoot, that thing I was popular for, I can't do it anymore because I'm not on the team anymore, or because my business fell under, or because I lost my cool car, or because, you know, I lost, you know, my gains in the gym, or whatever reason why people thought you were cool, or people liked you, unless it was for who you really are, and that's just like, that's a very rare thing these days. So for the most part, that's just not how it goes down. Most people who are popular and who are liked, it's not because of who they really are. It's because they're entertaining, or because they got a cool car, or because they can tell some funny jokes, or because they got money, or because they're on the team, or because they're popular, or because the party, or this, that. It's never, generally, it's never be like, I know who you really are and I still like you. Like, that's the kind of thing that's reserved for, like, three things, really. Your family, particularly your parents, particularly your mother, right? They're going to love you unconditionally for who you really are. The second is a good close friend. Just a close friend. Just somebody who knows you, and, like, you're just close with that person. You guys talk. It is what it is. You know you're best friends. There's that. And then the third is your wife. Your wife and your kids and your family. That's it. Like, they're the ones who should know the real you and love you for the real you. And what's sad is that in today's day and age, a lot of people don't get any of that type of real love, or real appreciation, or real care. Their family doesn't even care about them. They don't have any friends. Love is a foregone conclusion, right? And then there's a lot of people who don't understand that that's fake. There's a lot of people who don't understand that, oh, now you got the success and now you got the friends. That's fake. You're doing it backwards. You should have learned that when you were 20, like I did. I'm not saying that I'm the prototype for the quality, for a quality life. that's a whole nother story. But you know, they just so happened that I learned that when I was 20. When I was in my early 20s, I learned, oh, okay, people are freaking shallow. Unfortunately, it's shallow out there. The mainstream culture is a shallow culture. Oh, you don't have money, you're a loser. Goodbye, I don't want to talk to you. Oh, you don't have a cool car, you're a loser. Goodbye, I don't want to talk to you. Oh, you don't have cool clothes, you're a loser. Goodbye, I don't want to talk to you. Oh, you're not in shape. Oh, you don't this, you don't party. Oh, nothing. All these stupid outward materialistic things that people, unfortunately, in our culture we uplift. That's the reason why you have friends. That's the reason why you're successful. That's the reason why you have a girlfriend. Or excuse me, that's not the reason why you're successful. That's your success is the reason why you have friends, a girlfriend, wife, whatever. It's because of your success. Take away your success and all that goes away. Right? So to me, as a red pill purist, and I've said this before, but to me as a red pill purist, I have to delve into that. I have to realistically take a look at behavior. I have to take a look at patterns of how people treat other people, and then come to this conclusion that this is why. This is why guys are stuck. This is why guys are stuck in this, oh, I gotta be successful. Like, it's actually sad when you really think about it. When you break it down, success for men is a prison. We have this ball and chain around our neck that we're constantly carrying, this burden of being successful as a man that we're constantly carrying around. And guys like Richard Cooper, unfortunately, just make that worse on us. They make it harder for us. Oh, be better, do better. Like, how about just love? Can I just get somebody to love me? My mom told me once, and this has always stuck with me. She said, she quoted it from somewhere. I can't remember who told her. I think it was somebody from church, but I think I know who it was. I can't say the name, but it was somebody from church, from our church, who said the reason why a lot of people are in mental institutions is because of a lack of love. The reason why a lot of people are in mental institutions is because of lack of love. And a reason, and I go out and I see people on the street and I feel sorry for them, and what they need is they need love. They need care. They need someone to care about them, and someone to talk to them. And what's crazy is most, I don't say most people, but I would say a large, and it's getting larger, I think, a large amount of people on this planet are very lonely. And men need love. And we're out here being taught and told to work harder, be more of a machine, right? Make more money, It's all our only worth is on what we can produce, what we can provide. We're not just loved and accepted for who we are. We got to provide and bring something to the table, and that's a dark, cold burden. It really is. It's a dark, cold burden, and my hat's off to men, because I could never do it. I could never sacrifice myself like that. I mean, maybe I just couldn't, because the only way is if there was a mutual. She'd have to really love me in a kind of helpful, mutual way, because I could never be one of these guys who, quote unquote, sacrificed everything for their wives and their children, and their wife is just like this appendage, right? Or worse, she subconsciously runs the show behind the scenes, which I've talked about a lot before, and that's a sad sight. But it's very common, unfortunately. Anyway, I could never do that, because it's like, why are you doing that? You're breaking your back in order to just have a woman, in order to just have a woman as an appendage. And I'm just like, wow. I think about that sometimes, and I just have to sit back and go, wow. That's really crazy, man, because she wouldn't be there if you lost your money. Right? So she doesn't really love you. She really just loves your consistent providership that makes her feel safe and comforted, which is like no wonder women are running away from commitment, if that's all they got out of a commitment was their nature says, oh, I just need to secure this man for money, or their animal instinct or survival instinct, whatever you want to call it, reproductive instinct. Wouldn't there be parts of their heart that are like, man, I married this guy for his money? And a lot of, I hear that a lot over the course of my life. I've heard a lot of women say that. Oh, I married him for his money, and my sister only married her husband for his money, and you hear that from time to time, and you're like, why do people just, women, why do they just casually say that? Like that's horrible. I would never want to marry a woman because she had money or something, and just like I would never want to marry a woman just because she had nice tits or something. It's just like, yeah, that's a great pair of tits, but what about your heart? Like, what about, are you my other half? Are you my soulmate? Are you, if that even exists, which is a big question mark, but, are you, do you love me? Are we in love? Is this real love? Or it blows my mind that guys will be out here like just trying to be successful, trying to be on a boat with their successful friends. This is the equivalent, like, guys who do this, funny to me, like, they think like this is some kind of like flex when really they just look kind of like teenage girls in a way. Guys in boats really remind me of teenage girls. For some reason, it's just like, you remind me of a teenage girl, because this is what girls do. They go out to clubs and they take these selfies. Oh yeah, look at us, we're at the club. It's just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're 50. You're 55, bro. Why are you taking a selfie like a female? You're showing off how like flossy you. Now I could understand if like he's just like, oh yeah, I enjoy these guys. These are my top guys. I just want to give them a shout out. Wanting to get a picture. If it was like real dismissive, low key, like maybe. But you're making this your whole thing. Like, this is your cornerstone. Like, this is your selling point. Look at me, I'm successful. I got my guys out here. That's like, dude, you're just basically a club girl on Instagram at this point. I don't know, man. But maybe that's just me. But anyway, I think I'm gonna end it there. I've been talking for way too long. I think you guys get my point. Yeah, man, it really is. It's deep. It's deep, man. This guy won the game, but did he really win? He won the game of finances, but did he really win the game of life? I want to be loved. I don't want to be. I'd rather be. Well, love and respect to me are almost the same thing. They go hand in hand. They're very similar, right? So when people say like this kind of harsh axiom, or not axiom, this harsh maxim, I'd rather be respected than loved. Like, that's fucking dark and cold, man. I want to be loved. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I like being loved. I know what it is when somebody loves me, despite my bullshit. Because believe me, I've done a lot of bullshit and done a lot of stupid ass shit in my life. And I've had people love me, particularly my family. I've had people love me despite that, despite my big mistakes. Just, turn around and just act like nothing happened after I just made a big error, or I just said something really insulting, or like, and I knew I was wrong, and then, later on I thought about it. All these examples of what real love is, and like, no girl would do something like that. She'd throw away a whole relationship if you call her fat or something. Like, I don't know, man. I just think the world lacks love. Men particularly lack love. I think women get a lot of love from their friends and other women, and I think women get a lot of love from men. And I think love to women means a completely different thing. I don't even know if women can love in the same way men can love. I don't know if it's even the same, but maybe that's another story. But all I know is men need a lot more love, and it's not going to happen when, you know, you got guys out here acting like success is love. You're not going to get love out of success, man. You can't get blood from a stone. It just doesn't work that way. You know, yes, you can get respect. Yes, you can get success. You can get quote unquote friends who will be around and entertain you. And it's all titillating, and that's it. It's just titillating. It's not love. It's just entertainment. It's just these are acquaintances. You lose your boat, they're not going to be around. They're not going to you lose your house. You move into a studio apartment. Oh, now you don't have the cool living room for them to come over and have drinks in, and it's kind of depressing at your apartment. Like, they're not going to be your friend anymore. This is everyday shit that happens all the time, and people don't talk about it. People don't realize that it's phony. That whole life is phony. You lose your money and the girl's gone. So it's crazy to me how somebody like Richard Cooper, who's so adept at female nature, can still be a dummy and play into it. You're playing into female nature. You're a proponent of gynocentrism when you play into their nature. What does it benefit you? Yes, but does it benefit her? It benefits her more than it benefits you in a way, because she didn't have to work for it. So it benefits you less because you had to work for it. All she has to do is show up with the tits and ass, and your boat's hers. Right? All she has to do is show up, and you'll give her everything that you have. Remove your success, and will she still love you? Can you call yourself a man if you have no success? That's a tough thing to do. And it makes you question, what is really a man? Are men just success objects? Are we more than that? Are we just means to an end? Are we just A to B? Are we just all about, you know, providing? Is that our only worth in life? I don't know, man. I think we're worth more than that. I think men deserve love regardless if they have money or not. I think humans do in general, but I think men particularly, because imagine the burden that so many men carry around. And yes, there is something to be said for not being lazy. Like, some men do need to kick in the pants. Some young men particularly do need somebody to come in and say, hey man, look, you need to get off this video game. Start working out. Start writing some goals down. But you take that necessary move and you turn it into, oh, you got to be this 6-figure guy, woo woo woo, and then it becomes something else, right? It's like, yeah, this guy needs to stop playing so much video games. He needs to go outside and exercise. That's something in general. But what this guy's Richard Cooper is he's really a proponent of hypergamy. Richard Cooper should get a tattoo saying hypergamy. I support hypergamy. Because you do. Anytime you're saying, oh, you know, success, and then you'll get the woman, success, and then you'll be happy, success, and then you'll get the friends, you're a proponent of the Matrix, and you don't even realize it. You're a proponent of slavery. You want to enslave men while getting rich off of them at the same time. They can't do what you do. Not every guy out here can be an entrepreneur. We need street sweepers. We need garbage men. We need forklift operators. These guys aren't 6 figures. That doesn't even make sense. It's like you're trying to sell. You're selling a one size fits all for something that is just the opposite of that. Success in this way is not common. It's not something that every man can reach. Most guys are going to be street sweepers. Pardon me, not street sweepers. That's pretty low. But most guys are going to be middle class. However that turns out. because that's reality. That's statistics. That's what's really out there. So you're selling guys a dream is for you. It's for you. I think Richard Cooper does believe the stuff that he talks about female nature. I think he does believe the red pill information that he speaks. And for that, it's fine. He's not a total fraud. But he's a profiteer, and he's using it in a way that's damaging to men, I believe. As well as Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's, I don't think he should have got canceled for it. But and Andrew Tate's the exact same. He speaks a lot of truth about female nature, a lot of truth about the red pill, a lot of truth about the Matrix, and then he'll turn around and play into hypergamy, play into the Matrix. What does the Matrix want? It wants slaves. And that's what, yeah, work harder. Work harder at what? At the mill, at the slave mill. Work harder for building bricks for Pharaoh. Why? Because this guy wants to sell you a dream. He wants to sell you a lifestyle. Anyway, I'm going to end it there, guys. Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like it really gets into my britches, man, or whatever you want to call it. But it really bugs me because, again, here's a guy who knows everything, who knows all the truths, who's and maybe even he himself doesn't realize this about himself, but it's obvious to me. It's like, yeah, dude, you leveled up. You did the work and you leveled up in such a way that you sold a dream to people who shouldn't be dreaming. I mean, you know, I don't know. It's a quagmire what this guy is, represents. Because on the one hand, he's like, oh, you know, women this, women that, women did this, and you know, single moms and woo woo and all this stuff about female nature. And then he'll turn around and be like, well, you got to do the work. You gotta man up. And it's like, why? So you can get a better looking version of the same trash. If women don't change, what are we gonna do? If no one's educating women on how to treat men, if no one's, you know, hey, wait a minute, we need to bridge this gap. Why are women using men? Why is there this divorce problem? Why are women out here killing men's kids? Why are women out here running amok and doing this and doing that? Can we question that? Can we question their parents? Who's raising them? How can we change this? How can we fix this real freaking problem? And his answer is to make more money. His answer is to become a better version of yourself. That's fine. I didn't need a red pill guy to tell me that. You know, when I look to red pill guys, I look for the truths. I look for the quality information, which we all know at this point. The red pill rhetoric, the red pill glossary of terms. We all know this stuff. But what I don't need is somebody telling me I need to work harder, because I work my ass off. I always have. And so many other men have too. It's just we got problems that hard work doesn't fix. We have problems that hard work does not fix. So you can't just take a sticker that says hard work on it, or work harder, and go slap it on the forehead of every man who's suffering in America. Or excuse me, the whole world, really. I mean, the West, I was going to say the West, but that Western gynocentric influence is spreading throughout the whole world now. As the world gets more affluent, as the third world countries become, work their way towards first world countries, these first world problems, such as gynocentrism and radical feminism and all this crap that screws our young women up, is going to become more prominent. When you live in abject poverty, you don't have time to worry about, oh, who's the hottest guy. I mean, women are still doing that, but you really don't have time. You're just like, I need to survive. I got to make some kids. I'll take this guy. It doesn't fucking matter. Of course, we all know it should be about love, but it's not. For the most part, not to say the real love doesn't happen, but that's a whole nother conversation. Anyways, guys, I'm getting tired. I need to end this, but this is one that always just fucking pissed me off about. It's just, there's a lot of shit out there in the Red Pill community that's bullshit, and this is one of those things. But all right, fellas, I'm gonna leave it there. Appreciate you listening. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.